Hi Aries, and just give me 1 minute to move the camera. Sorry. And welcome to your September 2020 general reading. So, the Lenormand you pulled is a tree, okay? Very, very beautiful card. A tree tends to represent something to do with shelter, something to do with foundations, stability, security, roots. That sort of energy tends to be extremely positive card. As you can see, the rainbow is shining through the heart, so I guess it's about the heart and home and the ground under your feet, the sense of belonging, the sense of feeling connected. So that sort of thing. I mean, almost like the earth sign energies. And I do know you're a fire sign, Aries, so don't worry about it. But obviously that's a key message for you. Remember the pyramid of needs, and the pyramid of needs always puts something like the tree as the foundation. So to ensure our foundations are as okay as they possibly can be before we get to evolve into the next stage. So tell me what's going on for the sign of Aries, please. Give me a minute to shuffle the cards. I'm going to do one more shuffle actually, and then you're my first reading of the day, and then one more cut. So obviously your ruler is going retrograde in September. Okay, you've got the Five of Cups behind you with the Ace of Cups. Wow. Bizarre combination of cards. Let me carry on more. So what you want is a Ten of Swords. I don't read the Ten of Swords the way that other people do. All the tens represent an ending. So this is the ending. It tends to be an ending of a challenging set of circumstances. The Ten of Wands is quite similar. It's like, oh my gosh, I just want this completion. And I don't know if it's an emotional issue, because the Five and the One together, for some of you, it can be about this new emotional start, but there's complications, isn't it always? Or a feeling that things are not flowing the way that they should flow. So the Ten of Swords, you want this ending, you want something to be completed, and what's helping this completion is the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is about communication. The Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight. The Knight of Wands would be next, but the Knight of Swords brings news. And this news is going to help you get this completion that you seek. The challenge is the Seven of Cups. So already you've got 3 water cards here. And you've got a little bit of a mixed bag on the emotional realm. The Seven of Cups is a card of feeling confused. Let me carry on. So relationships, you've got the Hierophant. This is Taurus. This tends to be about commitment, loyalty. So very, very much like that card. You know, I said, oh, this card, it's almost a card of Taurus. And Taurus always represents our essential needs, commitment, the foundations of our life. And this energy showing up in your relationship dynamics. Money and work, the Two of Swords. So maybe that's where you've been waiting for news. Soul position and Nine of Cups, so beautiful. So even though you're confused, there's going to be a lot of reasons to celebrate. The soul position is the centre of the wheel, Aries. So in some ways, it's obviously not the most important card, but it's the centre of everything. And because you're celebrating, I would assume that means there's some sort of conclusion happening to whatever this Ten of Swords has been about. Then you get the Magician card. So beautiful. All the aces. Yeah. So, give me a minute. So you get 3 air, 4 water, 1 earth, and the Magician card, which has all the elements. So why is the 5 of Cups and the Ace of Cups together? Because this is a feeling that, so the Ace of Cups, all the aces represent a new chapter. The 10s are conclusions, yeah. The aces are beginnings. So the Ace of Cups is this, I mean, it's definitely a card about love, yeah. Destiny. It's got all the planets here. So it's definitely got a sense of very much, you know, these moments in our life which feel very ordained, very much beyond our control. It is with the 5 of Cups, which is a card of feeling that things aren't totally going according to plan, or there's a little bit of ups and downs around emotions or issues of the heart. Okay, and I wonder if that's what the 10 of Swords is about. Is that some of you might have been planning to get married, but there's delays, or there's delays in, there's just delays around what this brand new beginning is about. For some reason, Aries, I'm not remotely worried about it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if any of you are sitting there going, oh my gosh, well, I am. The reason that I'm not is the 9 of Cups and the Hierophant. I think it's almost like when we're considering, you know, delays and frustrations, we can just write 2020 over it. And pushing the river, I know it's hard, Aries, and I know that desire of yours is always to go forward, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way, and I'm so sure that you get that. So what you want is a 10 of Swords, which is interesting because the 10 of Swords to me is a little bit of a flow card, okay? You want the ending of a challenging cycle, so you want whatever's gone before this to be an end. So if you think of what's gone through before this is the 8, the 7, the 8 and the 9 of Swords. So shadow, unspoken communication, feeling frustrated and anxiety. By the time you get to the 10 of Swords, as you just want this completion, that's the end of it. And it's just over. It's almost like I'm just so over this dynamic. And actually I love seeing the 10 with the Fool card, because it's almost like the soul's deciding just to propel itself forward. You know, it's that energy is, oh, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going. Or regardless of what fear I've got or what delays I've got, I'm going forward anyhow. That's sort of what the 10 of Swords is about. Now, the Knight of Swords is bringing news to you. So it's with the Page of Swords. So these are both about messages, communication. And it's bringing you news of some sort of completion. And what is it that's completing? The 9 of Swords. So the 9 of Swords is obviously about fear. It's a card of living in fight or flight or freeze. So running on adrenal energy or projecting the past into the future. And that's when so think of it, there's only 2 emotions, love or fear. So fear is a retracting emotion, when we retract. And that's how I read the 10 of Swords, funnily enough. It's almost a decision of, well, I don't know how this is all going to end out, but I'm willing to give it a leap and give it a go, because I would rather do that than live in this sense of living a half-life, living a life that doesn't take risks, living a life without risk, Aries, is not really a life, okay? It gives you a sense of security, so you know what's what, but it doesn't give you the life that Aries longs for, because Aries longs to be this explorer, this energy that propels itself forward. This is about ending a cycle of fear. So either there's going to be some clarity, some news, some insight, which is going to bring this fear chapter to an end. I cannot help feeling this is about relationships, by the way. Now, your challenge is a Seven of Cups. It's like being in fog, and particularly around your emotions. And I can understand why, having the 5 and the Ace together. It's almost like, which one is it? Is this a brand new love? Or is this the ending of a love? And it's almost like you've got these, or some sort of disappointments happened that's making you feel unsure about what comes next. But something interesting's happening. So the Hierophant showing up in your relationships, which is the tree energy, okay? So the Hierophant is about loyalty, commitments. It would be the sort of marriage card, okay? So if that's what you're looking for. If not, then all your relationships have an energy of stability. Now, I don't always read the Hierophant that way, but I read it that way when it falls in the relationship sector. Yeah. It can also be about guidance, but it's mostly about commitment. And I think you're dealing with an issue, there's definitely an issue of fear here, guys, okay? Wanting something over so you can start this brand new cycle. And I think it's bizarre, you've got the Ace and the 5 and the 7. So it's like this brand new chapter, but it's wrapped around confusion and a little bit of even postponement of what that 10 of Swords has meant. Yeah, that sort of thing that makes you feel that you can't quite grab this brand new beginning that you're seeking, or the brand new beginning that's seeking you equally. Now, in your money and work, you've got the 2 of Swords. The 2 of Swords is not an action card, guys, okay? It's just not. So I don't know if some of you just, so there's a helicopter here. Some of you are still in lockdown. There's a helicopter flying over, and the 10 of Wands is another card of a challenging cycle. It's the same as the 10 of Swords. So these two are both challenging cycles coming to an end. But my feeling is, when the 10 of Wands appears, I feel it stays with us for quite a lot of the month. Okay, I have to say it. And I don't know, because I give it this example of just finishing off a project or finishing off notice on a job, ending to quit something, that sort of thing. But it's still hanging around you, this feeling. It's quite a card of heaviness, feeling a little bit oppressed around finances. And with the 2 of Swords, you might not feel there's that much action around that chapter, Aries. So sometimes to be forewarned is really clever, because if I had these cards here, I wouldn't push anything. I just wouldn't push anything. It's pointless. With the 10 of Wands, I would do what was necessary. I'd make sure all the I's were dotted. I would round up chapters. But there's not that much action in these cards. Okay? So that's how I think all this is about relationships, and you've got so many emotional themes. Now, at a soul level, you've got a 9 of Cups, and that's how I feel you don't have that much to worry about. Even now, you might be looking at this reading and going, oh my gosh, I've got so much to worry about. look at what this guy is doing. This is the wish fulfillment card. This is definitely the card of getting what your heart's desiring, getting what your heart's needing. It's a card of prosperity. Prosperity is many things. It's health, it's emotional happiness. Money's just but one thing of it. But there's definitely a sense of my cups running over. And that's how I feel, Aries. And even if some of you are worrying, which you might be, because you want the 10, which means you want this worry to end. There's not as much to worry about as you think. Okay? Because in a sense, that's what the Nine of Swords is. We project the past onto the future. And then we create a goddamn bloody nightmare in the present moment. And really what we need to do is sometimes if the energy of our finances is really slow, but we're managing and we have what we need to take a step back and just get into completion, because that's how we enable cards like the Magician to show up, which is the energy of new beginnings. Because I never recommend people start new things without concluding other things. That tends to be what creates a goddamn mess, Aries, to tell you the truth, especially in relationships. Never works out. So around your money and work situation, there's not a lot happening, but I would make sure that all those wands behind me, so everything's tied up. Yeah, if there's letters to send them. If there's all those things are complete with this energy, because that's what's going to leave you brand new to walk down this beautiful Magician card. The Magician is the manifesting card, but he brings in this energy. Now, it's almost like if your cup's full, you cannot bring in this energy. Yeah. And that's a little bit like the Five of Cups with the Ace of Cups. It's like there's a brand new cup, but the cup before is like something's still being worked through here. Do you understand that? Oh, you probably don't. I don't know. But the Magician is all the new beginnings. It is the manifesting card. Is there anything? Yes, with the 10 of Cups now, which is very beautiful, which means you've got the 9 at the soul level going to the 10 as the outcome. So this is a very happy conclusion to a chapter. So you get 3 10s showing up, which is completions, endings, and happy ever after, whatever that means, till the new chapter begins. So there's an awful lot going on for you this month, Aries, actually. And I would say the biggest point of your focus, I can't help thinking this is a lot to do with a lot of the energies about relationships. And completing something. Now, completing something isn't always about what am I thinking? It's not always about something might have ended a while ago, but it still lives within us. It's not tidy. Yeah, do you understand? Like, everything doesn't feel complete. And sometimes, especially when your ruling planet goes retrograde, it speaks of things that have been forgotten, that we all need to go back to make sure that things have completed themselves, so we can have that new beginning, so we can go, right, end of September, and I've done all these 10s, I've got all these 10s. There's not all these messy, unfinished patterns everywhere. And then and only then, Aries, do we really get to move forward and feel free to go forward in our life direction. So it's definitely not a month to push much, by the way. And the Ten of Swords isn't really a pushing card anyhow. We push at the 8. We found out we just banged our head against the wall. Then we go into the 9. And by the time we've reached the 10, it's like, I just don't want to live that way anymore. I want to live in a way that's much more about, you know, trusting, letting go. And then we manage to get some peace, Aries. Regardless of what's going on around us, we're not pushing the river, okay? I hope that made any sense to you. I feel a little bit out of touch with them. I haven't been doing a lot of private readings, so I feel a little bit out of touch. I have made a new website. The links are below, just to check it out. See the services I do. There's links to my new Facebook page. And that's what I've been doing during the last few months. Okay, Aries, so much love, guys. You've got a really, really, really big month ahead of you. And you know what? I really like it. I just really have a really good feeling about it. Just make sure that there's not piles of unfinished business anymore. Use your time to go to that corner and go right into that corner and make sure it's clear and everything's completed and all the I's are dotted. Okay, so we can move forward and embrace that Magician and that 10 of Cups. Okay, beautiful, really, really, really lovely reading, Aries. Lots of love. Bye.